Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Auto Club Speedway for the ProGeek Auto Club 200. The ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series gets set to go underway. Race number 5 of 12 in this first of 3 segmented racing series over the course of the season. Joining me tonight, Andy Kessler up in the LSRTV booth. We got Cisco Scaramuza. We also have the newcomer, Austin Coop, and of course, Jacob Seelman will be joining us later on in this evening. But tonight here at Fontana, or Auto Club Speedway, I should say, we're in for a good treat here tonight. And Cisco, I know you're always excited to come to this place. It's kind of a flatter, wider speedway. These guys carry a ton of speed down into the corner, especially when we talk about the draft package that comes here. And with all that said, these guys always put on a good show, and they'll fan out 2, 3, sometimes 4 wide through these corners, and that's always fun to see when we come to this place.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. This place is such a fun place to drive around. There's so much action here. You have to be careful where to run, I know, but you have to be careful where you're running. But this place, if you can get your lines right, you can be really fast and have a lot of fun here. But Andy, qualifying's up. Why don't you take him through the starting grid?
Yeah, going through the starting grid here tonight, Mitchell Hunt in the 71 car, a good qualifying time for him. He beats him almost by 4/100ths of a second here. He'll start with a 40.562, and on the outside of that front row, that's the 57 of Greg Stykes. Joseph Galata will start third outside of the row number 2. That's the number 27 of Ray Alfala, and Michael Conti will round out the top 5.
Starting 6th is going to be Jordy Lopez Jr. Starting 7th is going to be Josh Jones. 8th to Matthew Moose. 9th is going to go to Adam Benefield, and 10th is going to be Justin Fuller.
Starting in that 11th spot here tonight, the 91 of DeWay Woods. Adam Gilliland will start in 12th. Bentley Glazer 13th. 14th goes to Josh Parker. And Alan Lewis in the 88 starts 15th.
16th position is going to be to Austin M. Jones. 17th is going to go to Chase Cabry. 18th to John Gorlinski. 19th to Dustin Langard. And 20th to David Comstock.
21st goes to the 19 of Tyler Dalton. Parker Kligerman will start 22nd. 23rd goes to Corbin Himstreet. Josh Connors will start in the 24th spot, and 25th is the 20 of Chad Coleman.
26th is going to go to Greg Spears. 27th will go to Brad Newman. 28th to Alex Monteferrante. 29th is going to go to David Anarchy. And 30th is going to go to E.J. O'Rourke.
31st starting spot will be the 77 of Tyler Tucker. 32nd goes to Jesse Kovacs. And the last car to take time in qualifying here this evening in the 33rd starting spot, that's J.D. Laird. The rest of the field deciding to take some provisionals. You got the likes of Byron Daly starting 34, Trey Edson, Matt Busa, Brad Patton, Matthew Chafe, Brandon Wilkinson, Matthew Quick, Scott Mitten, Rich Jetty, and John Wilco will round out this 43-car field here tonight. Talk of the town all season long, at least in the first 3 races, has been that 27 machine at Ray Alfala. Of course, he had dominated the majority of the first part of the season. He also dominated a good portion of our race last week at Phoenix International Raceway, but it was Jordy Lopez in that 40 machine late in the going, took over that race lead and never looked back and picked up his first victory of the season. Points battle, not so much here early on after 4 races of the season. Ray Alfala holds about a 30-some-odd point lead here as we work into race number 5 this evening at Auto Club Speedway. With that said, the pace car now looks to duck to the safety of pit road for the first time. And that 71 machine of Mitchell Hunt will lead the field to the green flag here at Auto Club Speedway. We look forward to having you here, right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. The ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Auto Club 200 is underway.
Yeah, absolutely, and a great start there by Mitchell Hunt. He's able to jump to the front of the pack, and here comes Alfala, and that Alfala Tech 4 jumps to the bottom. He's going to run that inside line, able to get past the 57 there. He's going to get second here out of 2. He'll clear him, so a great run by Alfala. He's already in second, and watch out, because he's looking for that lead already as they head towards turn 3.
Such an abrasive racetrack here at Auto Club. Lots of bumps. I'm sure you all saw that if you watched the NASCAR race there this afternoon. This track obviously not as bumpy, but it does have some characteristic bumps to it as these drivers go through the corners. But Ray Alfala doing what he needs to do now early on here with the fresh tires, and he's chasing down that race lead as the top 2 really have pulled away now. That first battle, Joseph Gulata in the 86. He does battle with Michael Conti up on the top side right now. Jordi Lopez mixed in with that as well as they storm off of turn number 2.
And you have to know the field's in trouble because Mike Conti actually qualified this week, and you know that means trouble. He doesn't have to drive through the field. We also see Jordi Lopez up there in the 40. We know he's strong. He won the race last week, able to snap Ray Alfala's streak, so he's going to be fast here. But those two are battling right now. Lopez able to edge out in front. Meanwhile, the 57 of Craig Stykes, he's still battling with Conti. Conti up on the outside here as they cross start-finish line.
Conti will able to drop down in behind that 57 machine of Greg Stykes as Joseph Gulata just up in front of them moves up to the high side. That allows Jordi Lopez Jr. now to take over that 3rd spot. Here comes that 57 Greg Stykes now to the inside of Joseph Gulata, and he's going to give him a battle right now. So they go door to door down the back straightaway before that 4th spot on the racetrack, and they dive back into turn number 3. Top 2 guys still pulling away from the field right now. Alfala still on the hunt for that race lead. Hasn't quite caught the back bumper yet of Mitchell Hunt, but he's right there in that draft now.
And you can see kind of Mitchell Hunt moving all over the racetrack, trying to break that draft. And, you know, Alfala is still able to stay in his tire tracks a little bit, also trying to get a bit of a run here as they head through 1 and 2. Watch for it here on the front straightaway. That's where you'll see people kind of moving up and down the racetrack, trying to break that draft.
Yeah, you'll definitely see these guys trying to break the draft, especially when they're trying to keep that race lead. And we'll see it more and more as this race goes on. And as the tires wear out, you'll see the field start to spread out just a little bit more. And you got that battle still going on right now for that 4th spot. Look at Michael Conti down on the apron there in 3 and 4. Going to slide up the racetrack right there and leave that battle between Stykes and Gulata as they still race side by side down the front straightaway. Pretty good battle right now inside that top 5.
Absolutely, and this place, it's very Michigan-esque, but the way I like this place a lot more than I like Michigan because of how bumpy it is, how old the track surface is now. You can see kind of Gulata, you can see the cars kind of bounce up and down, and that allowed Stykes actually to get past the 86 of Gulata. Now it looks like they're going to battle into turn 3, but you can see the cars just hop up and down, and it really gives kind of an edge to this racetrack. You can't really hold it wide open here, or it doesn't have the same feel as you would get at Michigan. This track's a lot rougher and a lot tougher to drive.
And as you get on older tires, you're gonna get closer and closer to that wall. You're gonna really flirt with it, and then see these guys get closer and closer down to the white line. You'll see Michael Conti. He's the only one who's really venturing down to that white line, and maybe that's going to help him right now, but in the longer run, he's going to get closer and closer to that wall on the exit of 4.
And as you get closer and closer to that wall, it spells trouble, especially when the tires start to wear out. These guys start slipping and sliding, and that apron becomes slippery itself as well. When you get down on past that white line, you start to lose that banking. The car starts to get upset. With the fresh tires, it works. It's worked so far as Michael Conti continues to run in that 6th spot now. Everybody's pretty much spread out throughout the field. The battle for the lead has not really closed the gap too much. Still 2 tenths that last time by. The Ray Alfala still hunting down that 71 machine. Mitchell Hunt looking strong here early on as we work lap number 7. Early on in this race, 100 laps scheduled distance to go for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. And these guys are looking forward to a long run, maybe possibly some green flag stops, which that always poses a threat as well of who can get on and off pit road the best, especially when you're running at such these high rates of speeds, and then you have to slow all the way down to 50 miles an hour to get down onto that pit road. The battle for the lead, though, it's heating up now because that draft is really starting to help that 27 as you close the gap that time. Just close it up another 10th right there as they battle into turn number 1.
And this looks exactly like what last week was like. Ray Afala doesn't get the lead at the very beginning, but he's closing down and just chomping away at the lead, like you said. And each lap, he just takes a little bit off. And when he gets to that lead, we'll see if he pulls away or if he's going to have some more competition like he did last week.
Last week, obviously, at Phoenix International Raceway, a little bit different. You actually have to use the brakes getting into the corners. Here tonight, it's more about when to let off and how much to let these cars coast through the corners. See right there, the run off of turn number 4. Ray Alfala is there, and he's looking now to the inside as they head back to turn number 1. He's got the fender to the inside, and Mitchell Hunt lets him go right there. He'll battle a little bit on the outside. Not too much now as the bottom side starts to bind up just a bit for Ray Alfala. He's able to push it off the corner, and he's going to take over this race lead here on lap number 9.
I think Mitchell Hunt really thought to himself, I'm going to stay behind him and let my tires breathe a little bit and let him go into the corners hard and just let the drive carry me down the straightaway, get my tires some breathing room.
You're absolutely right on that, especially using up the tires early on in the race. You don't want to do that after about 10, 15 laps. That's when they really start to fall off. Although this new build that iRacing has come out with over the last week and a half or so, it has spelt some different tire strategies for a lot of these drivers, and we've seen it a lot, especially at the super speedways. They made it so the tire wear wasn't so dramatic, and those guys were able to take options of 2 tires or no tires on those pit stops, but that is the super speedway. This is totally different here, carrying these high rates of speeds down into the corners. It really hurts these right front tires if you don't play it just right.
Oh yeah, it's definitely about that right front. And every time we have a new season, air quotes on season, every time we have a new season for iRacing, it's also a new learning curve. Who can get on the learning curve with the new car build the quickest? And, obviously Ray Alfala is a genius when it comes to these setups and doing, what he does best. But also seeing these other guys who pop in, like Mitchell Hunt, going towards the front, and, learning from Ray Alfala from where, he makes it on the track and in the garage.
Ray Alfala, obviously a seasoned veteran, 2-time Peak Antifreeze Series champion as well on the pro side there too. So Ray Alfala definitely one of those guys that knows how to get it done. I'm keeping an eye on that 3rd place car machine, Jordi Lopez, last week's winner. He's been closing the gap quite a bit here over the last couple of laps and starting to close in on our race leader. So definitely saving his tires in the early run. It's starting to help that 40 machine as he starts to move closer and closer to the top 2. Greg Stykes, he's settled down into that 4th spot right there. He's got Michael Conti right behind him, who eventually was able to get around Joseph Gulata, who now has fallen all the way back to the 8th spot as Adam Gillen and Josh Jones have also got around him as well. So a lot of guys starting to move up through the field. Caution, though, on the speedway. Looks like the 56 machine is the cause of the caution here. Looks like a little bit of help possibly in the corner. Dustin Lingert is on the back straightaway in a little bit of trouble, and we'll be able to get the replay up to you on your screen and see exactly what happened. But it looks like some close battling with that 36 of Bentley Glazer down the back straightaway. Just made contact just a little bit too much there. Everybody able to spread out through there, and it looks like those two will be the only 2 with some damage on their machines here. And it looks like that 56 machine of Dustin Lingert will be able to drive it back to pit road at least. But we've completed 12 laps here at the Auto Club Speedway, and our first caution of the night has come out. And at this point, first caution on the Speedway. That means the first time we'll see all these guys come down pit road. It's only been 13 laps, but I assume that most of these guys will take their advantage of this and get their 4 tires and fuel and get back out there and try it all over again.
But, if I were in the field, I would like to try a two-tire stop, or maybe even stay out, just to see what it would be like later on. This is perfect for those guys that are deep in the field to see what they could do on a restart, because that's where you can gain the most and you can lose the most, as we see them walk into pit road here.
They make their way down pit road, not any sort of bit of gap in between these top drivers as they make their way at 55 miles an hour down pit road and into their pit stall for the first time tonight. They'll come to service of their crews. Ray Alfala, Jordy Lopez, and company will now pull into their boxes. Looks like everybody clean into the box. They'll get their service done on their machines. They'll head back out on the track, and we'll see who has what it takes on the pit road. Looks like Matt Quick going to drive through the pit stall here and get himself a lap led. Looks like a couple other drivers as well. The 41 machine of E.J. O'Rourke coming out ahead of these guys. But 4 tires of fuel for our top runners. But a different strategy for a couple others that have stayed out or drove through their pit box here early.
Yeah, it looked like the number 50 was one of the only cars that actually stayed out. We'll see if he actually stays with that and takes the lead and see what he does with it, or whether he comes down pit road just to lead a lap here.
Strategy already a factor here early on in this race. We're working lap number 14 under caution. We're going to take a moment. We'll step aside. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series Auto Club 200 right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. We'll welcome you back here to Auto Club Speedway for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Auto Club 200. We're getting set to get things back underway here. Ray Alfala will lead us back to the green flag this time. Mitchell Hunt runs in second. Greg Stites sits third. Michael Conti is in that fourth spot. Jordy Lopez Jr., last week's winner, will restart in the fifth spot here this evening on our first restart of the night. An early caution here. Dustin Linger made some contact with Bentley Glazer down the back straightaway. Our first caution was underway. Just those two cars receiving damage under this one. The rest of the field was able to spread out and go way down on that big wide apron down in the back straightaway, get around that mess, and they save themselves any sort of trouble here early on. we're going to get set to go here. So the field stacks up 2 by 2, gets through turns number 3 and 4. We get set to do it all over again. Our first American Ethanol restart will get underway, and I'd like to welcome you along with myself, Andy Kessler, and Jacob Seelman, and Austin Koop up here in the booth here tonight. And the pace car will head down to the safety of pit road. Green flag will wave, and Ray Alfalla will bring us down to a green flag start. A pretty good jump on the outside as well. Mitchell Hunt, he stays in it for the time being, but I think that 27 machine will have the advantage on the bottom side there as they enter turn number 1. And he will, as the top 3, 4, 5 guys now single file. Michael Conti up to that 3rd spot now as they race their way off of turn 2.
Yeah, Andy, and glad to finally be here at Fontana. The top 2 running away as we work down the back straightaway under the first restart of the night. Hunt not wanting to let Alfalla get away too far, but now the Alfalla Tech Ford going to run by about 2 car lengths as they work off the exit of turn number 4, and a little bit of a wiggle by the 71 of Hunt. That Chevrolet not looking too comfortable right now, but he gathers it back up. Top 4 goes single file, and these are the kind of restarts we're going to see all night long. You're going to see guys fanning out, trying to look for grip, going 2 wide, sometimes 3 wide back in the pack. Couple of good battles going on the restart. Matthew Moose, John Gorwinski back about 14th. The 14 and the 80 were going at it a moment ago, and that's a good scrum with Alan Lewis in the 88 there back in the pack.
Yeah, look at Matt Busa trying to make his way up through the field as well, as now he finds himself side by side with the 2 machine of Chase Cabry. Got the job done in the Xfinity Series here on Friday night, so a good job by him. And these guys getting the job done here tonight. Matt Busa now trying to work his way up through the field. He started in that 36th spot. He's up to 13th already. He's looking for more in turn number 1.
I'll tell you what, who I'm looking at right now, Michael Conti in 3rd place. Last week, it looked like he had the chance to take it all, even though it was a late restart and it got taken away from him on that restart. Here he is, 19 laps in, 3rd place, watching where they're going. We'll have to watch him throughout the whole race to see where he's going, but I know that he's definitely going to go to the top, at least at one point in this race, based on how he's going at it in the front straightaway. He's definitely picking them off here at the start-finish line.
I'm right there with you, Austin, and he's making time right now. He's gaining on these top 2 and doing it in the middle to upper groove of the racetrack, which is a tough groove to master when you're on fresh tires, and we know there's not been a lot of rubber laid down up there in this early going, but Michael has found a way in that Peak Chevrolet to make some speed up there, and he's going to get some help here too by the fact that now you've got the 71 of Mitchell Hunt all over the back deck lid of the 27 of Ray Alfalla, Andy, and as we work off turn number 4, all it's going to take is those 2 to get side by side fighting for this lead, and Michael's going to be right there. He's already basically right there, just a car length off of him, but he just needs him to get wheel to wheel. That slipstream, that extra punch of the hole in the air, and go after these 2, because it slows up your momentum so much here at Fontana when you fight side by side with another car. It's killer if you're out front. You got to be able to stay single file if you want to make time and get away from people. That's what Conti doesn't want. He wants them to be racing.
Absolutely, and once they do start getting that way, it doesn't look like yet, as you can see that 71 go all the way down to the apron there.
Down there.
He's actually going to push up the racetrack there and give that bottom side now open to Michael Conti. There he is now side by side for that 2nd spot. An interesting move by Mitchell Hunt there all the way to the apron. That really scrubbed off most of his speed heading down the straightaway, and he's going to lose that 2nd spot. And Jordy Lopez just did the same thing on the 57 of Greg Stykes, move him up to the 4th spot now. So that 40 machine, after the victory last week, pulling off a very exciting win last week at Phoenix International Raceway, he's continuing to show his speed like he has over the last few weeks. So it's good to see that 40 up front here in the top 5 now, trying to chase down our race leaders now. Michael Conti, though, in that 2nd spot, 2 car lengths now off of the back bumper of Ray Alfalla as they work their way off turn number 4.
Yeah, it's a fun run right now for these 2. And how many times have we seen this battle play out? Alfalla versus Conti. It happened so much during the 3 years that they split the championships in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing between them. With Alfalla winning 2 and then Conti being able to win one in 2014. 3 out of 4 they went. And, you know, they know how each other race, Austin. They're comfortable with each other. They know neither one is going to make a stupid maneuver that would take both of them out of a shot to win. Right now, the only difference is Alfalo's got about 3 car lengths gap. But he knows if Conti gets there, it's going to be a fun battle. It's not going to be one where you got to worry about the guy next to you as you're going about your business. We know these two are going to put on a good show. They're going to put on a clean show. And I promise you, if Conti can get there, he's going to be hungry to put on a show and maybe stop Alfalo from winning this race. I mean, we know the 27's trying to go 4 out of 5. That 5 car just needs something to go right.
Yeah, but he also now has Mitchell Hunt breathing down his neck. Mitchell realized going to the apron probably isn't the best idea, and I think Michael Conti figured that out the first round of green flag laps too. And as we approach a quarter of the way through, they're actually losing just a little bit of ground on Ray. I think that's because Michael is just worried just a little bit about Hunt behind him. As we cross the line for a quarter of the way through, you know, Mitchell's got to know, I made that mistake going into turn 3, but let's watch their line. Maybe I can try to go a little higher, because that's what Michael keeps doing. He keeps going a little higher into 1 and 2 than anybody else. It's kind of what he did last week too, and you see he gained almost an entire 10th that lap, and he's going to bring Michael Hunt back with him going down the back straightaway.
He is, and Andy, the key here for Conti is he's getting that slipstream behind the 27. It's actually a benefit here if you're riding behind another car, because these cars with the package they're running now, they do punch a pretty good hole in the air, and you can get that draft. We don't talk about that a ton at intermediate racetracks, but here in Michigan, the sister track, these are 2 tracks where you really can get a lot of benefit from riding behind somebody, and we see that slingshot maneuver work really well on the straightaways. So, you know, even though Conti lost a little bit of ground that last lap, I can see what he's trying to do down the back. He's trying to stay locked onto the back deck lid of that 27, gain as much speed as he can down these straightaways to make something happen.
Yeah, he definitely is, and I'm watching this other car right behind these guys, Jordi Lopez, really starting to close the gap on the top 3 now. Once he got around that 57 machine of Greg Stice, he's definitely started to close the gap just a bit as Michael Conti slips up a little bit there in turn number 4. Might have touched the wall just a bit. Either that, he had to let off the throttle. That's going to allow Mitchell Hunt now to the inside. And that battle for second rages on now as Mitchell Hunt finally clears him on the entrance of turn number 1. Well, Michael Conti's not going to give up that easily as they exit turn number 2. He's going to be right there in the draft now as they race down the back straightaway. They still haven't lost too much ground now to Ray Alfalo, but they're still battling hard for that second spot.
Yeah, they are, and the key here is, Andy, Michael did have to get out of the throttle a little bit there off the exit of turn 4, and that I watched the telemetry. He lost so much momentum, almost 20 miles an hour you lose. If you have to get out of that throttle right at the exit of the corner, that kills your straightaway speed, Austin, and we saw that. He ducked up high because he knew he was going to be a sitting duck, let Mitchell get by, and then got right back in the slipstream there to try to build some speed back, and now you see Mitchell starting to pull away from him. That 71's got a little steam that he'd been saving this first part of the run.
Yeah, and Michael is losing a little bit of ground on the 71 and Ray Alfalo, and Jody is also as well. I think Ray, with all the action that's going on behind him, he's smiling, grinning ear to ear, knowing that, you know what, these guys are going to keep racing. You know, I think Michael is going to come back and get to Mitchell again, and then Ray's is going to keep going. But considering all that's going on, he hasn't pulled away much, just as you said. I mean, these cars are still packed together pretty close with this package that they have. I mean, they're still double file back in the latter parts of the field. I mean, they're not really pulling that far away. They're not like they used to be, where you could get a couple seconds out in front, you know, in a couple of laps. You know, it's going to be about 20-30 maybe through pit stops that you actually get a couple seconds ahead of somebody. This draft is working really well. The low down fourth is working really well, and anytime you get in the corner, you're going to catch somebody and get that draft from anybody who's in front of you.
A pretty good battle going on outside the top 10. It's Corbin Hemstreet in that 69, John Gorlinski in the 80. They've been going at it pretty well as of late. Corbin Hemstreet just made that pass on Gorlinski, and now you can see Chase Cabry moving on by the 80 machine as well as they continue to work their way off of turn number 2, and Cabry's not going to get that spot easily now as Gorlinski looks to the inside and continue to race side by side. Almost. Nope. The gap's going to slowly fall away there, and Chase Cabry's going to end up with that spot, so move him up another spot to the 14th spot. That's only 3 spots ahead of where he had ran, or where he had started in that 17th spot. So it's been a slow night for Chase Cabry to move up through the field here, and I'm looking all over this field, and there's some great battles going all over the place. They may not be for that race lead. Still some exciting racing going on here, Jacob.
Yeah, there is, and as we watch that battle kind of settle itself out now around 14th spot, trouble for the guy that finished second last time out at Phoenix International Raceway. Justin Fuller just dropped out of the sim, lost connection, and he now finds himself 40th off the track, 2 laps down, and continuing to fall in that number 51 machine. And that's a tough break for him. He qualified 10th, and it looked like he was going to have potentially a really good run tonight. Now that's all for naught here, at least as we roll through what's going to be now about a third of the way through this race. 31 laps go up on the board, and we're going to still wait and see if Fuller can get back in the sim and try it again. But at this point, you're 40th, you're 3 laps down, and there's not a whole lot you can do, Andy, at that point to be able to really rebound and have yourself a nice night, because this race is taking on a real green flag field.
Yeah, Connie moved all up the track in turn 2. I don't know whether he's trying to nuke line or what's going on. He's really up the track right now.
Yeah, I think the tires have gone away on that 5 machine now, as he has lost about 3 or 4 positions now. Almost makes contact with the 57 of Greg Stykes right there off of turn number 4. So that 5 machine now really starting to hurt. Maybe he used up his stuff early on in this run. And caution now on the speedway. We'll see who this one is here as we try to scope around through. It looks like the 19 of Tyler Dalton is the victim of this one, as he is slow on the front straightaway. It looks like problems for him off of turn number 4. We'll see if he had, looks like he made a little bit of contact maybe with that 91 of, on the, or 97, excuse me, on the outside. Just slightly made some contact door to door right there with Alex Monteferranti in that 97 machine. That was a battle for that 21st position, and now he'll find himself back at towards the end of the field now. So Ray Alfala continuing to lead. These top 4 didn't really let each other separate themselves over the long haul of that green flag run. The rest of the field now will catch up to the pace car here as we go to complete lap number 33. 1/3 distance through this run here, and that's probably some saving grace right there for that 5 machine, Jacob.
Yeah, I think so, because, boy, he looked like he had just thrown out the boat anchor, didn't he? Right before that caution, he was running second. Mitchell Hunt got around him, and he started to fall back a little bit. And then when you get, Jordy Lopez, Adam Benefield, who's having a real good run so far in that 4th spot, Craig Stykes all got by him, and he looked like he was gonna continue to fall back here. He had a little bit of a gap before he got to Adam Gilliland in 7th, but a saving grace for that car. Maybe they can come down and figure something out with it, because yikes, or at least even just kind of let the caution have the driver hit the reset button, the mental reset button, as we've seen. Andy, we really don't see anybody coming down pit road right now, but this is a chance for Conti to just kind of take a step back and take a breather here. And we are now going to see everybody come down pit road. I had to wait the lap before we got there, but Alfala going to lead the train down, and we'll see what the 5 can do here under stops, and we'll see if the 27 can keep the lead too.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if Ray Alfala could keep the lead. He's been pretty stout on pit stops all season long here so far, and we'll see what his team can do this time around. But Austin, they're all coming down. I imagine it's going to be 4 tires and fuel once again.
Oh yeah, no question. If you're taking 2 tires, you're more or less just trying to figure out what to do later on in the race, trying to figure out how this new package goes with new tires. But to not get 4 tires is to ask yourself, do you like staying in the back of the pack? Which I don't think any of these guys want to do, because they realize how hard it is to pass. Although it is really easy to go back, and even with new tires, as you saw Conti go, lose 3 or 4 spots on the track, as I think he got all of it. I think everyone went back out in the same spot except for the leaders.
Yeah, the leaders did switch
Mitchell
spots.
Hunt won that race off pit road, Andy, and a really good stop for that 71 bunch too.
That was a great stop by them there. Listen, when you got the first pit stall too, that helps as well. So, great job, Mitchell Hunt. Once he drops down those four tires, you don't really have to drive that very far off of that first pit stall. So, that's exactly probably the advantage that all that Mitchell Hunt needed right there on that pit stop, and he'll regain the race lead here as we work lap number 35. We're going to take a quick break. Step aside. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. The Auto Club 200 right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome you back here to Auto Club Speedway as we get set to get underway once again with our second restart of the night, and Mitchell Hunt will lead the field to the green flag from the outside lane. The first time we've seen that here this evening. He's going to get out to a pretty good jump. That's going to allow Ray Alfala to take over that second spot pretty easily now as the battle side by side for the third spot. It's not much of a challenge. It's now going to be a battle for the fourth spot here. We got trouble behind. It looks like the one car involved with that, Trey Edson in that McDonald's machine, and we got a huge stack up in turn number 1 and 2, and we'll have to definitely get a replay on that one as a lot of cars are involved with that one there. And it looks like it did start with the 1 and the 20 machine making some contact. Chad Coleman getting to the back of the 1 machine, and we probably had about 10 or 12 cars involved in that one. That was pretty exciting right there, Jacob.
Is this the part where I pull out the Pasoko line and go, hello, parking lot?
That would work.
something, anything under this one. I mean, the bad part about this is this race through the first third, Andy, other than that caution at lap 12, I really thought we were going to have some long green flag runs, and now, of course, you get back-to-back cautions, and everybody gets antsy, and this is kind of what as a driver, this is kind of what you're afraid of right now, because you get into a decent rhythm, and then you have it broken up by a couple of incidents like this, and it could be hard to find that, Austin, again now as we go into the second half of this race. We're going to have to see if these guys can settle back down a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching the number one.
We definitely have to, Austin. You saw that, Austin, with that accident right there. I think just a product of everybody getting too close together there.
Yeah, I was watching number one. I mean, they were really close, and he just barely got on him, and that's all you need sometimes to get turned around. And, these restarts, I mean, as I said earlier, this is where you can get the most spots or you can lose the most spots, because you can see getting a spot in this race, it maybe sometimes takes 2 laps to actually fully complete a pass. So everyone's going to go as hard as they can just to see if they can, make it stick. And sometimes you'll try something, and as you see this time, it didn't really work.
It definitely didn't work on this one here, so we'll sit under caution here. Pit road was open. Our leaders were just down pit road. So we'll see the front runners right now stay out there. You can see actually one of them, Ray Alfala, on the apron there, probably trying to save a little bit of fuel just in case it turns into one of those fuel mileage races, Jacob. We know we could see those. We saw some great racing at Atlanta early in the season come down to stories like that with fuel mileage and short pitting. So it definitely could happen with this one as we approach that halfway point.
I tell you what, fuel mileage is going to come in close, because these cars can go about 40 to 50-ish laps, and they got about 60 left. So saving is going to help them only a little bit here.
That's the key, Austin. And Andy, you've got to wait almost. I mean, I don't think you can really play this on fuel mileage until you see how the cautions are going to fall. I mean, if we get a caution about 35, 37 to go, then of course you got to look at this as, okay, if it goes green the rest of the way, we're going to be close. But it's too early with watching these guys spark some incidents like they have. It's way too early to be thinking like that all the way to the end. I know you've got to kind of plot it out a little bit, but I'm not buying it just yet. I know we've seen fuel mileage races at Auto Club Michigan. These 2-mile racetracks really are, they really set themselves up for that. But I just don't know right now.
Yeah, we definitely don't know if it will come into play, but I will never second-guess a 2-time Peak Antifreeze Series champion like Ray Alfala at all either. So if he wants to save fuel here on lap number 40, then he's definitely thinking about something or what could be or what might be here as this race goes on. So you definitely don't second-guess a driver like that, because he knows how to get it done.
Right, and as we are circling around the track, it seems like no one has actually gone down pit road at the moment.
Yeah, so
I
nobody
must have missed that.
Yeah, no, they're all going to stay out and not come down and give away that track position that they've worked so hard to do. Take a quick look through some of the guys inside the top 10 right now. Look at that 60 machine, Byron Daly, from 34th starting spot all the way up to 8th. And you got guys like Matt Busa in the 34 there, started 36th, and he's sitting 11th right now on the grid. So a couple of big movers here early on. Other guys like Josh Parker starting 14th inside the top 10.
Patton too, Andy.
In the 7th. Yeah, look at Brad Patton as well, making his move up through the field from 37th to 15th. So there's a few movers here so far, and a couple guys that, most of them anyway, starting in the top 10. They continue to run in the top 10 right now, and we continue to circle around this racetrack under pace speed, and this time by, hopefully we'll get the lights off and we can get back to racing here at Auto Club Speedway. Jordy Lopez, though, that 40 machine, he's going to restart in that 3rd position, and Mitchell Hunt takes that top side again. I think you're going to have to keep an eye on that bottom lane, especially on the first couple of laps there, having that advantage of the shortest distance around the racetrack. I think that 27 and 40, you might have something to say for Mitchell Hunt in that race lead.
Perhaps, Andy, perhaps. And, you know, after Lopez's performance in Phoenix, I mean, how could you bet against him having a shot at it? I mean, that Toyota Camry a week ago was just brilliant in the closing stages, and I can't help but wonder if maybe he's not saving a little something right now. He's been just real quiet, real methodical about what he's been doing so far, and it's paid off with him. He's up to third right now, so you know, again, this whole race has been kind of, I've said it from the drop, wait and see, and, you know, we still kind of have to do that here because you've got 58 laps to go. We're not going to know exactly who's got what till that last 10. You know, we get a late race caution, a late race restart, then you're going to see everybody's cars. Right now, though, if I'm Mitchell Hunt, even Ray Alfalla for that matter, I'm plotting my course for the rest of this race, but I'm not showing all my cards because you don't want to tip your hand too early and have somebody be able to figure out what you're doing and use it against you late in the race.
You're absolutely right on that. We'll get set for the restart right here as the pace car looks to the safety of pit road. The field gets all jumbled back up. And Mitchell Hunt will lead us back to the green flag for the third time here this evening, or I should say this afternoon, as the sun's shining here on Auto Club Speedway, and the green flag is back out. A pretty good jump on that outside lane. Look at Adam Benefield now. He's going to be side-by-side for that second spot. That's a pretty good jump for that outside lane. He's not going to have the advantage, though, through turns 1 and 2. He's going to try to squeeze down in front of Jordy Lopez as the battle rages on just behind those guys. They're side-by-side, 3 rows deep right now. Adam Gillen involved in that.
Yeah, he is, and look back in the pack. Joseph Galota in the 86 was taking a peek to the inside in that 86 car. He settles it back down in a hurry before you can really get too dicey, but battle for the lead going up front off turn number 4. Mitchell Hunt didn't get a good run off the corner. Alfalla got a great run off the corner. They're going to be door-to-door at the start-finish line. 14,000 says Hunt led that lap. By the time they get to turn 1, though, advantage Ray Alfalla. He's working the inside lane. He's going to try to bring Adam Benefield with him in that 83, going for the runner-up spot. Benefield's got the run, but they're still door-to-door off turn 2. No advantage for Alfalla.
I tell you what, I'm looking at these guys at the front, and their cars are straight as an arrow, but if you look back, you're going to see all of these cars wobbling off the 4, off the 2, and sometimes down the straightaway. These cars are all over the place. You know, they only have 1.5 laps of tires, but it seems like even though they've had that much use, they're still wobbly off these corners, and it's becoming quite the commotion for some of these guys, as they're still about 3 wide in the very back of the field.
Yeah, they are, and I'm telling you, this is not going away. That's all back around John Gorlinski in the 80 machine right now. He has not given up the bottom lane, nor is Michael Conti. Look at the 5 machine to the inside of the racetrack in for turn 3. 1, 2, 3, trying to get about 4 positions in one swipe right there. He's 3 wide to the bottom. Gorlinski in the middle, Brad Patton on top. The momentum goes away for the 5 off the exit of the corner. He's going to shuffle up to the high side now, and it's door-to-door 2 rows deep back to 1.
And he started in around 29th place. He had the all-time interesting pit strategy to pit both of those cautions, found himself deep in the pack. He's all the way back to 16th place, and you can tell, even though he only had 2 laps on those tires, getting new fresh ones has got him almost halfway up there to the front again. But that is why Conti is so far back.
Yeah, change for second. Adam Benefield up in front of the field. The 83 has worked around the 71 of Mitchell Hunt, and now the Roll Speed Dynamics Toyota on the move. Benefield keeping pace right now. He's a little bit slower that last time by than Alfalla was, but what a run for this 83 car. Top 10 at Daytona. Kind of fell off the map the last couple of weeks, but he is right back up there, and actually a change to Chevrolet recently for the 83 of Benefield. So used to seeing him in a Toyota. It's interesting to see the SS on track tonight for him, but that I Can't Design Roll Speed Dynamics Chevrolet running real solid, and you gotta wonder, he's in the tire tracks of Alfalla. It's hard to make up time, Austin, when you're basically in somebody's tire track. He's going to have to move around eventually to see if he can find any speed, but right now at least, very solid run.
He might have to try the old Connie up a small groove kind of line to see if he can get any extra speed and continue to get that draft. Because even if you go up a line, you're still going to get most of the draft and continue to get up there, as his lap times are pretty identical with Ray Alfala's. And the guys...
Looks like EJ O'Rourke having some problems a little bit further back in the pack. It's in the 26th spot. He got a little loose there off of turn number 2 and able to collect it and keep it straight. And he'll maintain that spot right now and continue to keep it straight. But up front, battle for that third position starting to heat up just a bit. Jordy Lopez, he's all over the back of Mitchell Hunt now as they work their way through 1 and 2. Those two right now getting it done right here off of turn number 2 as Jordy Lopez looks to the inside. He's got a little bit of a run. Going to take a peek, at least for now. Not quite get there just as of yet. We'll pull back in line right now as they work their way back into turn number 3.
Where did Josh Parker come from all of a sudden, Andy? That shreds Chevrolet up to 5th. And, you know, I hadn't really been paying attention to him, but I guess he's had kind of a quietly successful run here in the early goings and has started to turn up the wick a little bit. We're going to be halfway next time by, and I think this is the first time I've seen his name in the top 5 tonight, but a great run going. He's only a second off the lead right now.
So what I'm looking at right now is Byron Daly, who started in 34th, did not qualify, took the provisional, and now in 10th place, gonna make a look towards the 9th place on the outside of that number 86 car, and he's gonna be coming into turn 3, probably gonna have a little bit of head steam. Oh, they almost made contact actually in turn number 3, but he may have the advantage coming out of 4.
Yeah, he's going to right here, I think, have the momentum and maybe be able to do something with it as we come around, Andy, to complete lap number 50, halfway home with, surprise, surprise, Ray Alfala out front. And I say it's high time we take a look at our ProGeek Consulting midway race break.
Well, you're absolutely right. It is that time to take a look at the midway race break, and we'll do just that as we run you through the full field and where they sit right now halfway through this 200-mile race here at Auto Club Speedway. Ray Alfala is your leader, almost half a second now over Adam Benefield and runs second. Third goes to Mitchell Hunt. Jordy Lopez sits in that 4th spot. 5th is Josh Parker. Adam Gilwin runs in the 6th spot. 7th is Matt Busa. Greg Stykes runs 8th. 9th is Joseph Gulata, and Byron Daly rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, 11th going to be Alan Lewis in the 88. Josh Jones, solid run after a top 10 qualifying effort. He's 12th. 13th is Corbin Hemstreet. Greg Spears 14th. Michael Conti continues the charge through the field, back inside the top 15. John Gorlinski 16th. 17th Brad Patton. 18th Matthew Moose. 19th Brad Newman. 20th Chase Cabry.
Looks like Alex Monteferrat, I'm going to butcher it, Montefranti is going to be 21st. Brad Newman in the number 6 is going to be, oh, I'm going by the way, sorry. It's going to be Chad Coleman in the 22nd. Austin Jones in 24th.
21st right now, Alex Monteferrante. 22nd is Chad Coleman. Austin Jones is 23rd. 24th is Parker Kligerman. David Comstock, 25th. 26th is Doy Woods. EJ O'Rourke runs in that 27th spot. 28th is Rich Jett. Justin Lingert rebounds, and he's running 29th. 30th is Scott Minton.
31st, Jesse Kovacs. John Wilco, 32nd. 33rd, Tyler Tucker. Bentley Glazer, last car on the lead lap. Probably soon going to be one lap down in 34th. 35th, 3 down, J.D. Laird. 36th, Justin Fuller after his connection issues earlier in the race. 37th, Josh Connors. 38th, Matthew Trey Edson. 39th, 40th, David Ankeny. Tyler Dalton, Matthew Chafe, the final cars that took the green flag, 42 strong, and Brandon Wilkinson after a provisional starting effort, a DNS 43rd. He does not take the green flag tonight, but that's a look through your ProGeek Consulting full field rundown powered by iRacing, the world leader in motorsport simulation, and an official sim racing partner of NASCAR. To find out more, including how you can sign up today, visit www.iracing.com. And as we look past halfway now, working lap number 55, Ray Alfalla, the Alfalla Tech Ford, leads Jordi Lopez by 1 second. Mitchell Hunt, Adam Benefiel, Adam Gilliland, the rest of the top 5 as they run. And since we're past halfway, we're going to take you LSRTV non-stop. The gap continues to grow for the driver who's looking to go 4 for 5 in 2016. Hang with us. We return to Auto Club Speedway in a moment. You are watching LSRTV coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series on iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by RaceBot.TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome back to LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. 20 laps to go in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series at Auto Club Speedway. And the story of while we were away, Michael Conti, who was 15th when we went to break, all of a sudden just dive-bombed the 86 of Joseph Gulota last time by the stripe and has now moved inside the top 10 with 40 laps to go. He's been the story as we bring you topside into the Inside Sim Racing broadcast tower. Jacob Seelman, Andy Kessler, and Austin Coop with you on the call. And Andy, I said the story has been Conti. Maybe the show, more like it, has been Michael Conti, because while Ray Alfalla and Mitchell Hunt have dominated this race, I mean, every time we go to this kid, he's been exciting all night long.
Oh, he absolutely has been. Diving to the apron early on in the race, trying that out, trying different things. He qualified in 5th spot, which is very uncommon for him. We've seen all 3 races that he started here so far this season. He started in the back, not taking a qualifying time, and he's worked his way through the field into the top 5. Right, and then for some reason he decides to qualify for this race. He does it. He runs up inside the top 5, but then we have a couple quick cautions. Decides to come down pit road and go back to the back of the field and try to work his way through the field, and he's done a great job with that over this last long green flag run now, up to that 10th spot, and he's closing quick on Greg Stykes now as they work their way back into turn number 3.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, part of that, when he came down pit road, he was not happy with that race car. I'm not sure if it was a bad set of tires or what the deal was, but he really had to hit the reset button, and it seems like he's done that very, very nicely. I can tell you why he qualified tonight, though. And Austin, I think we're seeing it in how he's running. Mike has always said this is a racetrack that he's been able to have success at and has been able to figure out how to drive it. And when you can do that and when you're comfortable at a racetrack, you want to start up front because you know you can perform. And he was able to do that before the car just didn't agree with him, shuffled back, and now we're seeing it again. He's got a good car and he's working his way to the front.
Yeah, and maybe he did a couple adjustments, did a couple tire adjustments, maybe made a wedge, and he's not closing in on Craig Stykes as we initially thought he was going to, but he's still made his way through the field from about 29th position, which is still a great feat to do. But we got to think next time he comes into pit road, he's going to make more adjustments. He's going to be up there.
Yeah, how about Matt Busa in the 34 on the move, 36 to 5th, and this 34 car, Andy, is not done. He wants to make something happen. He's been trying for about 2 laps now to get by the 71 of Mitchell Hunt. Not working, but he's got to look to the inside this time as they work off the corner exit. Busa with a big run in that Gale Force Toyota. Couldn't make it happen, though, at least not at start-finish. I think he's going to have him cleared by the time they get to 1, though. He will.
That was a great move right there for Matt Busa. Putting the Jets on here tonight at Auto Club Speedway up to that 4th spot. 32 spots up from where he started here in this race, and green flag pit stops have already started throughout the field. As we can see, Byron Daly now in that 60 machine. He's making his way around Mitchell Hunt in the 71 as well. So pit stops, green flag pit stops have already started for a lot of these drivers. A lot of the guys outside the top 10 are the ones that have made their way to pit road, and we can see that 80 machine now of Gulata as Jordy Lopez now heads to pit road, but you can see the 80 of Gorlinski, making his way up through the field here as he's now closed up on the back of the 71. And you can see the difference with the fresh tires right now, Jacob, as opposed to these guys that are on the old tires.
Yeah, you really can. It's kind of wild to see how this is all shaking out, and keep an eye, hang on to it. Matt Busa, all of a sudden, he got swallowed alive right there, and I thought somebody, when they were coming through, was going to force him into the wall, Austin, the way they were hauling through. I mean, it's as dicey as you can get, and this is where you get really nerve-wracking as he kicks it sideways, Busa does, off turn 4. These guys out front have got to pit soon, you think?
Yeah, they really do. And, Gorlinski really did not want to see that happen because he had a whole head of steam, new tires, trying to get advantage. We got some action on the track.
The 20 of Chad Coleman, he's making some moves through the field as well as he sits 1 lap down to our race leaders, but he's already been down pit road, and he just made his way around the 5 of Michael Conti. Now he's looking to the outside of Matt Busa. Just makes it look so easy with those fresh tires as some more leaders heading down pit road. Looks like Mitchell Hunt and Michael Conti now coming down as they get their cars woed down to 55 miles an hour to head down pit road. But you can see how much time that 5 machine made up on that 71 as they came down into pit road. And you can see a lot of these guys now starting to make their moves to the pit lane. Ray Alfala continues to stay out on the racetrack. Look at the 40 now go by him. He gets his lap back. That is Jordy Lopez. So Jordy Lopez Jr. will be back on the lead lap before Ray Alfala even makes his pit stop here So it looks like the 27 machine might be slowing down to come down. He's going to make his stop now on lap number 68 as we wind down the laps and we approach almost 30 laps to go here in this one.
And he barely got it woed that first speed line, Andy. There was smoke on the tires, and whoo, that was tight for Ray, but he comes onto pit road with what's going to be 68 laps complete, 32 to go. Josh Parker assumes the lead, and I'm nervous about Ray having stayed out this long. I don't know how much it helps you to have those couple extra laps of fresher tires. It's not going to pay, at least in the short run, because you're going to see Jordi Lopez and a few of these other guys be able to haul past him for the lead. It's going to be really dicey and interesting in a moment to see where he comes out compared to everybody that he was leading before pit stops. You see Alfala working off pit road right now, and Lopez has already gone. Gorlinski's just gone by him, and you're going to see Byron Daly haul past him here. He's going to cycle through and be about 5th or 6th in line. I'm going to say 5th or 6th in line when it all cycles through, Andy. I said I don't like the call. I stand by it.
I have to say, though, that Josh Parker, I think, is probably stretching his fuel, and I think these other guys, they're probably going to make it on fuel, but just in case, at the very end, I mean, that's what Josh might be waiting for a caution. He might be waiting for something to happen, whether, it could be a lot of things, and oh, wow, we got some cars moving out of his way just to get by him. That's how slow he is, the number 10 car, That is kind of an interesting thing to think about. He could stay out for the caution, waiting for that, because that's probably inevitable here soon. I mean, you can see how these new tires versus old tires is affecting people and people dicing. If you just, you do it the wrong way, Josh Parker's a little, goodness gracious, he's all over the place. I would come down if I was him real soon. And maybe he's trying to and he just can't. He's getting blocked.
He does keep getting blocked in 3 and 4, but Andy, the biggest thing that I'm watching through this cycle, it is a 5-second gap. Make it 4 seconds, I guess, when it cycles through this time by, but it's 4 seconds between Jordi Lopez and Ray Alfala right here. That is a huge margin to try and make up inside of 30 to go.
Yeah, that is a huge margin. You're talking 4 seconds on the racetrack. Ray Alfala will probably be about 2 or 3 tenths faster when he gets back up to speed like he's doing right now. But you can see right now Josh Parker still staying out on the racetrack. Rich Jett as well. So is John Wilco still on the racetrack in that number 62 machine. So you have to go all the way back to 4th spot right now. The Jordi Lopez Jr. in that 40 machine, the first one now that has made his pit stop. John Gorlinski, he sits in that 5th spot. He's about to get taken over right now as Ray Alfala starts to close in on the back of that 80 machine here as they exit turn number 2, and they'll make their way down the back straightaway. But look at that 60 of Byron Daly, Michael Conti as well, right there behind Ray Alfala as they what will assume be the top 5 positions here once everybody finally makes their pit road.
Yeah, and right now, we see Alfala make the pass on Gorlinski for 5th on the racetrack. What's in effect 2nd overall once these 3 guys who are leading the race make their pit stops, and Conti's going to come through now behind Byron Daly. So basically, in effect, what you're seeing is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th go the way of Alfala, Daly, and Conti here as Gorlinski starts to fall back. But Andy, the longer Josh Parker stays out, if we get a caution, it's really going to play right into the hands of that 18, because you got about enough laps on your tires now that you would consider, if you're these front guys, maybe coming back to pit road.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to come back down pit road, and they're going to get tires because it's obviously getting towards crunch time here. It's the next time by for Josh Parker. We'll be approaching that last quarter of a distance here. It'll be 26 laps left to go in this event. So it is getting down to that crunch time, but you don't want to be stuck out there with old tires as well. So for that 18 of Josh Parker, stretch it this long. That's about the only thing you can hope for at this point. Other than that, he's going to get swallowed whole in that top 10 spot that he had before this round of pit stops were going. I'll tell you what, Austin, that's going to be gone because he'll probably be looking to be outside the top 15.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe he was just trying to go for the long shot. I know he wasn't in the top hunt, and I know he wasn't, he wasn't really out there towards the front fighting for position, but maybe he's just trying that strategy call. I mean, I don't think he's pitted yet, right? And then, they're only 10 seconds behind him. I mean, they're going to lap him before he even comes down pit road, it seems, or at least get back to him, not lap him, just get back to him at this point. Somebody I gotta give it a shout out to is that 80 of John Gorlinski, though. We didn't even see him in the top 10, I don't think, at any point today. And yeah, he's probably gonna lose that top 10, but at least a great effort for him. He's still probably gonna get top 15. I mean, I would probably do something similar if I was outside of the top 20 as a driver. You gotta think to yourself, how can I progress my position the best? And if a caution does come out, what do I do? And pit stops aren't gonna be that far away from happening again. So if he pits soon, he's gonna have good tires again.
Yeah, now I keep watching the battle. What's going to be for the lead start to shrink as Parker's still out in front, Andy. All these different scenarios that we play out. We know that, Lopez, Alfala, these guys, unless we get a caution, they're done coming to pit road. We know that. But the gap between the 40 and the 27 right now continues to come down. It was 4.5 seconds when Alfala pit road. Right now, it's 2.8 seconds and continuing to drop, all while they're making up time on Parker. Now, I want to get one of our crack statisticians on this, as I think Rich Jetty drops to pit road. He does right here in that 7 car. Do we know when the last time Josh Parker pitted was? There's no way he can make it to the end on fuel, I wouldn't imagine.
No, he absolutely cannot make it back to the end of this race. He's definitely going to have to come down pit road, but he is stretching it, and I would imagine he's going to have to come in the next probably 3 to 5 laps at the most, with the amount of fuel that he maybe have been able to save over the course of the run. So his ability to push it is not going to be that much more long here right now as the laps start to continue to wind down on this race, and we're approaching that 20 to go mark here in just a couple of laps. So you will see that 18 machine come down pit road, and it's going to have to be rather soon than later because he will end up out of fuel. And this is one of those places, Austin, you don't want to run out of fuel, especially coming off turn 2.
And no, you don't, because it's going to be a long time, probably he's coming down pit road. He's going to make the stop now. As he slows down, hopefully he doesn't screech his tires going in. He makes it 55 miles an hour, and well, he's going to get past, but was it worth it? It doesn't look like so now. But yeah, as you're saying, if he did run out of fuel out to turn 2, it would not have been good because it had been about an entire minute before he got back to pit road.
I hear Jaws music, guys. The gap is 1.3 seconds between Lopez, who assumes the lead here at lap number 78, and Ray Alfala. You want to talk about a driver that's coming? This is the battle we expected to see. The only 2 drivers that have won this season. Lopez trying to go, Alfala trying to stop and restart another streak. Go 4 for 5 here, and on every lap, Andy, he keeps taking more and more time off of it. And as these guys are working through traffic, you got 1 or 2 cars that they're getting ready to come up on to put a lap down here. That's only going to play into Ray's hands.
Oh, it's definitely going to play into his hands because he'll be able to close the gap that much more quicker here as they start to approach this lap down traffic. The first one they're going to come to is Rich Jett. He's the last one on the lead lap right now. He is one of the guys that waited right there to the end about 2 laps ago that he finally came down to make his pit stop. So you can just see how much time he had lost. And we take a look to the 18 of Josh Parker now. It looks like it's showing him in that 28th spot. So not only did he drop out of the top 10 or top 15, he's all the way down to almost 30th place. So that was a huge call for him to stay out there. Probably took away an opportunity to finish in the top 15 spot. But you look at that battle for the race lead, that 27, Ray Alfala has caught Jordi Lopez now off of turn number 2. The gap is closed now, about half a car length as they race down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and we're about to see, we just crossed the 20 to go mark right here, so we'll go through our ProGeek Consulting 20 to go as Ray Alfala to the outside of Lopez for the race lead. 20 to go of these 2, or maybe somebody else if we get a caution. Andy, who do you like now at this juncture with just under now 40 miles to go?
Well, if they have to make another pit stop, I'll definitely put my money on that 40. He's got the idea of the short pit, but That 27's been way too strong here all night long for all these drivers. Conti has been another one as well that has been very strong. I just don't think he has enough left in the tank here. 2.5 seconds outside of the race lead now, but a good rebound for Michael Conti as well, up to the top 3.
Austin, are you taking the 40, the 5, or somebody else?
I think I have to go with Andy and say the 40 of Jordi Lopez. When you get off of pit road like you do, and you beat Ray Alfala, you've done some good work. And he's not that far off of him on the track, and I do believe they should be coming, but how soon is too soon for those tires? Because you saw Ray Alfala waited later on those pits, and then Jordi came in earlier. He's lost about 6/10 off of him now. If I was Jordi, I'd be getting to pit road soon if he can't make it on pit stops. But maybe that is what Ray Alfala's strategy was the whole time. That's something I'm thinking about, is that Ray Alfala may have stretched it just enough. Remember, we were talking about him saving, and we did have another caution. Maybe he saved just enough.
I would have to imagine so. I don't think it matters whether we get a caution, whether he comes to pit road, or whether, at this point, the circumstances to me all say 27 all the way. None of these guys are coming back to pit road without a caution. They're going to run it dry if that's what it takes to try and go for the best position possible. But the 27 does what he needs to do. My money's on Ray no matter what happens. He's been too good the first 5 weeks, and the only reason he wasn't able to make it happen at Phoenix was because you just can't pass once you get past at Phoenix, so I'm not worried about it. Alfala 1.2 seconds in hand over Jordi Lopez, now 3 seconds over Michael Conti, coming to 16 laps to go. It's the final stretch, and we're going to go side by side very briefly, take a quick break here, and be back for the final 10 in just a moment from Auto Club Speedway. You're watching LSRTV coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome back to the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series and the Auto Club 200 on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Jacob Seelman, Andy Kessler, Austin Coop in the broadcast booth as we come to 11 laps to go when leader Ray Alfala gets back to the line. But we're going to have a great battle for second shape up before the finish of this race. Jordy Lopez has it. Michael Conti and Byron Daly trying to close in. This is 4 seconds behind the race leader, Andy. But I'm telling you, a pair of Chevrolets behind the Toyota, and Conti has just flat run down Jordy over the course of this last run. He's going to get there. He's got a little bit better tires, and that's going to be the difference, I think, as long as he can sweep to that inside lane. If Jordy protects, he may have to loosen him up a little bit.
He might have to. We're not talking a bump and a run either. Just getting the air off of the rear spoiler. That's all it's going to take now is just close the gap off of turn number 2 now. Just about a car length now as they exit down to the back straightaway. And at 60 of Byron Daly also right there in the picture as well. He's got a pretty fast race car as well. As we got the 51, just came back out from pit road. He's going to have some fresh tires. He might play a role in this as well. As you can see him close the gap now, right now on the outside lane. And it might not make a difference at the moment, but look at him. He's going to have to dice right through all these leaders, and he's going to go down and make quick work of those 3 now and try to get back on the lead lap, but he's got some work to do to get back around Ray Alfala. As now Byron Daly, he's up to that back bumper, and all 3 of them now for second place. They're in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, Justin Fuller looked like a hero right there in the NOS entry, but boy, after his connection problems earlier in the day, he's a long way behind, 8 laps down in 32nd. He certainly gave us fun for a couple of moments, though, as Byron Daly is knocking on the back deck lid of Michael Conti now for that 3rd position. Daly wants by. He thinks he can go up and make something happen for second and get a really good finish out of this, but now you see Conti. He had the run. He got a little loose. Now he gets to the inside, and Daly's going to make it 3 wide.
Daly's actually going under. Daly's actually trying to go under him in 2. Oh, he almost gets him. But now Michael Conti is taking the lead of that small little pack, but they're not done. They are not done by far, and I almost feel that those 2 have some bad blood off of what happened after turn 4. They had some blocking, and this is a fun one to watch. But I think Byron Daly is in the catbird seat right here. He's going to watch whatever happens right here and take full advantage of it. As Conti looks like he's going to slide out the track just a little bit. Oh, that's close.
He got loose. Wow. And look at Josh Parker on the bottom of the racetrack. All of a sudden, he's on fresh tires late in the race. Chad Coleman, sorry, it's Coleman in the 20 late in the race on fresh tires. Gets by all of them right here. Those 2 similarly painted machines. But now Conti up into second, almost 6 seconds behind Ray Alfala. And Byron Daly gets around Lopez for that final spot on the podium. This has been fun to watch, and I don't know that it's done quite yet here, coming to 7 laps to go, Andy. I think we were all holding our breath, waiting for all 3 of these guys to wreck.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Byron Daly with the run right there off of turn number 4. He's going to now pull to the inside of Michael Conti. He's going to keep him up high on the racetrack there as well. See Jordy Lopez trying to take some sort of advantage, go to the bottom, try to gain any type of speed he can to try to get back up and fight for that second position as they're still side by side.
Oh,
Conti's going to pinch him way down the racetrack there as the 2 of them come side by side, still down the back straightaway. And that's a great battle for that second spot, but it continues to be over 6 seconds now behind our race leader as Ray Alfala is literally checked out of this one.
Yeah, Byron's looking for his best finish of the season right here in this series. He blows by Conti now off 4 to take over that second spot. I think Michael actually may have brushed the wall down the back straightaway. I saw sparks as these guys were fighting, but now you see to gap him by a car length or so. It's going to be 5 laps to go when we get back to the line, and let's go way up the back stretch to find the race leader now. Ray Alfala is entering turn 3 here in just a moment. It's almost a full straightaway, Austin, that he's got over Byron Daly now. I don't want to say it's ridiculous how good this 27 car's been over the first 5 weeks, but it's a little ridiculous.
I think ridiculous is is the least descriptive word you could say about Ray Fowler. I mean, no words can say how he just put on a clinic tonight. And unless blown tires in turn 1 go for Ray Fowler, which I don't think are going to happen, he's going to just walk away with the thing, you know, backwards with explosions happening behind him.
You're absolutely right about that. That would be something to see right there. He might even spin it around there off of turn number 4 and drive backwards across the start-finish line. We know he has time to get that done, at least at this point right now. Byron Daly, though, that second spot, he's pulled away now from Michael Conti, and that position has no more of a contest now as they exit turn number 4, and they're going to have 4 laps to go this time by as we close in on the finish of this one. Ray Alfala looking for his 4th win out of 5 races so far this season, and if it wasn't for some late race action last week, it definitely would have been maybe 5 in a row for him.
By the way, Andy, for the record, you want to know how good Ray Alfala's been through these through these first 4 races? If he holds on to win this race, he's going to have an average finish through 5 of 1.4, and he's led the most laps, I think, in every race this season.
Yeah, it's been pretty much like that. The stats have been just absolutely phenomenal for Ray Alfala, and they continue to just climb up back to back. I mean, he's got, coming into this race, he had 273 laps led out of the 553 that they've run. So the next person behind him was Matt Busa with 63 laps led. So Ray Alfala definitely putting on a clinic so far in the first 5 races, and you got to say the rest of the field, they're really fighting for that second place finish on the point standings, at least in this first segment of the first 12 races of this 36 race season. So we're almost to that halfway point, and coming into tonight, it was already a 50-point lead over Alex Monteferrante, and Alex Monteferrante currently right now is shown in that 22nd spot, so some more points going to be added to the total now as Ray Alfala gets 2 to go that time.
Yeah, for the record, he's going to lead 67 out of 100 tonight, providing the final 2 laps go according to Steam. And the final 20, he took the lead with 20 to go, Austin, and just has not looked back. I mean, in 20 laps, he put 8 seconds on these guys.
Yeah, these guys really, for the next couple of weeks, they got to figure out what to do, because it's not just the large ovals, it's not just the 1.5s, it's all of them. And it looks like Ray Alfala is going to take the white flag here as he gets passed by the number 20. But it doesn't really matter unless he takes him out in turn 1. Ray Alfala is going to turn it into turn 1. I think we still got some battles going on for the top 10 back there, but it doesn't really matter as Ray Alfala is just taking it on a cruise through the back straightaway off of 2.
Yeah, he comes off of turn 2 for the final time, and there's been nobody that can do what this cat can do. Florida provides good race car drivers. We've seen that in the past, and Ray Alfala just continues to impress. He works off turn number 4 for the final time. No contest, 8.5 seconds clear. 4 for 5, and ring the bell for Ray Alfala again. He wins in Fontana and goes 2 for 3 on the Western Swing in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Waiting, and Byron Daly is across the line then, 8.6 seconds behind, as Michael Conti actually lost out on the podium in the final lap and a half. Andy, Jordi Lopez, he was there, and we thought it was going to be 60-5, 2 and 3, but Lopez got back by him.
Yeah, he did. Jordi Lopez, I think, over the course of the whole night had done a really good job about conserving his tires over the long run. I think Michael Conti was just on it from the get-go. Every single run that we had, and really towards the end of the runs, we saw it a couple times there that he had some trouble and started to fall back from the field. So no surprise right there, the 40 able to take that final podium spot as Ray Alfala begins his celebration on the front straightaway, and a familiar sight right here on LSRTV.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit familiar on Sunday nights, isn't it? Alfala gets the win, and you'll hear from him in a couple of minutes, along with some of our other top finishers from tonight's Auto Club 200. That's 4 for 5 for the Alfala Tech Ford Fusion, and we're back with the LSRTV post-race show in just a moment. Ray Alfalla, your winner in Fontana. Stay with us.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by RaceBot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome you back here to Auto Club Speedway. We just concluded the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Auto Club 200. Ray Alfalla came out on top in this one, some 8.6 seconds Second place, Byron Daly here after 200 miles of racing. We'll get to the top 3 finishers in just a moment, but first, we're gonna throw it through a full field rundown with Ray Alfalla coming out as the victor here tonight. Byron Daly finished in the 2nd spot. 3rd goes to Jordy Lopez. Michael Conti finishes 4th. 5th goes to Matt Busa. Adam Benefield finishes 6th. 7th goes to Chase Cabry. A good rebound for him all the way from the 17th starting spot. Greg Spears finishes in the 8th spot. 9th goes to Josh Jones. Brad Patton rounds out the top 10.
11th going to go to Craig Stykes. 12th to Matthew Moose. Josh Parker, 13th. 14th, Alan Lewis. 15th to Dewey Wood. 16th, David Comstock. 17th to Brad Newman. 18th, John Gorlinski. 19th, Corbin Hemstreet. Austin Jones, 20th.
Alex Monteferranti is in finishes out 21st. Jesse Kovics is 22nd. Rich Jetty is 23rd. Mitchell Hunt is in finishes 24th. EJ O'Rourke finishes 25th. Scott Mitten is 26th. Chad Coleman 27th. Dustin Langert is in 28th. John Wilco is in 29th. And Tyler Tucker finishes out 30th.
31st on the final finishing order goes to J.D. Laird. Justin Fuller will finish 32nd. 33rd goes to Joseph Gulata. Adam Gilliland will finish 34th. 35th goes to Tyler Dalton. Parker Kligerman comes home 36th. 37th was Matthew Quick. 38th went to David Ankeny. Bentley Glazer will finish 39th. 40th goes to Josh Connors. Trey Edson finished 41st. Matthew Chafe will finish 42nd. And not getting to start this race here, Brandon Wilkinson will round out the 43-car field. That has been your LSRTV full field rundown. And now we'll send it down to Victory Lane, where Jacob Seelman has caught up with our big-time winner here. 4 out of 5 for Ray Alfalla.
I'm getting far too used to this, I think, maybe for the rest of the fans' liking. I know it's not to your liking. You'd just be okay with winning them all, Ray, and you've just about done that. I mean, tonight just drove off the front of this train at the end. What on earth did you find at the end, or was it just the tire advantage that you got by waiting to pit that just let you completely decimate these guys? I mean, 8.6 seconds, we were shocked by.
Yeah, normally I'd say the Faltech Ford had a great setup, but I mean, being fixed setups, you just have to kind of, protect your tires and try to not slide them as best as possible. And once I saw that Jordy was falling off a bit, he was like 2.5 seconds back, and then he short pitted. And I was actually going to wait. I was going to split the run in half, but I figured if I waited that long, I'd come out and I'd be like 10 seconds behind him, and he could save tires in the meantime. So I pitted, like 5 or 6 laps earlier than I thought I wanted to, and I still came out like 4 seconds back. So I wasn't so confident in catching him, but I guess the tires just kept falling off, and we were able to get by.
Get by and go on to Victory Lane tonight, and now 4 for 5. 4 for 5, you've been able to completely rock and roll through this series, and now get a chance to take a breather now before we get back at it at Martinsville. Is there any consolation in building the lead that you have and being this good this quick that or is it always looking towards the next race and just going on this focus of trying to win each one individually rather than just stack it all together for the season?
Yeah, I try to look at every race as its own thing. Obviously, whatever you do at Auto Club has nothing to do with whatever you did at Phoenix or, for that matter, Martinsville. So I think it's pretty cool that we race, the same track the same day as the Cup race, because you get to watch the Cup race and then you just kind of, you start like feeling, hey, I kind of like to race this. Oh wait, there's a race tonight, so that's cool. So, that's how ASCORS was 10 years ago, and it was always cool as, being in high school back then, always looking forward to the races each weekend. So, and I know I keep throwing back to 10 years ago because, for me, ASCORS meant a lot. Back then, it was pretty much the first big league I was a part of, and it kind of helped me get into DMP, and then just kind of, I met a lot of cool people through those couple leagues. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it was probably not too exciting at the end, but I was having a good time.
Of course you were. You were out front driving away, and with knowing the history behind this league for you, and being able to make it work like you have. I mean, does that make a championship, if you can keep this roll going and grab one? Does that make it all the sweeter knowing the history behind this league from the first time you ran it and being able to come back and do it again?
Yeah, it's cool. 10 years ago, I had, obviously no idea what I would be doing 10 years in the future, and to think that we're back to racing in ASCORS and in a totally different, racing sim, because back then iRacing was still over 2 years away, and we really had no idea. And how far iRacing has come. I mean, we're out here racing on a laser scan track, and with dynamic track surface, and marbles on the track and rubber buildup and all this stuff. So, I don't know where we'll be in 10 years. I hope to be sim racing. I love sim racing too much to be like, oh, I probably will be racing in 10 years. So, but I mean, I definitely expect to be around it, if not totally in it. And how far we've come in 10 years with the sim. Who knows what we'll have in 10 years and how good that will be.
Well, I know there's always people that go behind it, and we're starting to get used to this list, Ray. But for all those out there that may be looking for a shout-out, who makes it happen for you in the 2017?
Yeah, alphalatech.com. If you're looking for a gaming computer, go there and check us out. And also Slipango Motorsports, SimSimX, Snowcone Productions, and the Wendell Scott Foundation. And again, LSRTV, you guys do a great job. I enjoy watching the broadcasts, and and thanks again to everybody that put ASCORS back on the map. It's pretty cool, and we still have full fields out there, so that's pretty awesome.
Somewhere right now, Brian Schoenberg is smiling and maybe wishing that somebody could get up there and challenge you, Ray. I guess we'll see what happens after break. Congratulations, my friend, and we'll see you here when we go to Martinsville in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
That's Ray Alfalla down in Gatorade Victory Lane. He gets it done, and I'll throw it a little further up pit road now. And Andy Kessler, Byron Daly finally worked his way out of a great three-car battle late in the race, past Michael Conti, past Jordi Lopez, and he comes away with his best finish of the season.
Yeah, that's a pretty good finish for the number 60 of Byron Daly, and I'm talking with him now here on pit road. And what a pretty good battle. It wasn't for the race win there, but it looked pretty good as well over those last few laps, especially after that long green flag run there at the end there, Byron. But you're able to pass Jordi Lopez and Michael Conti and come home with a second-place finish, and you got to be pretty excited about that after starting 34th here tonight.
Yeah, well, you never really want to finish second, but after the way qualifying went, it's not a bad result. Had a 0x come off turn 4, didn't count my lap, and you know how that goes, so started 34. Car drove pretty good. It was actually kind of fun to slide around out there with the low downforce package. I'm sure you guys talked about that a lot. It was a ton of fun, a lot more fun than it used to be when the cars were all gripped up, so it was, like I said, it was fun. Focus 7 Chevrolet was great, and yeah, we'll try to do it again next week. Oh wait, we're off next week.
I was going to say, we get a little bit of a break there. We went 5 straight here for this season, but we get 1 week off, and then we get to head to a totally different type of style racetrack. We head to the Paperclip at Martinsville, Virginia. Size up that place for you, and how's the short track program?
I don't really feel like I got any bad tracks, just, I guess, what driver decides to show up that day. I like Martinsville. I like, most tracks. It's just about getting rotated through the center corner. If I could just work the brake pedal correctly to get through the center corner, I think we'll have a good night. So it really just depends which meet shows up that night.
That's what it's all about. Who shows up, who's going to be racing around you, and what kind of ability you guys have. And obviously qualifying will come into key there because track position at that track is so important. And we'll get to see that in 2 weeks' time. But second place finish here tonight. Any more sponsors or shout-outs you want to throw out there for this one?
Yeah, it's Focus 7 shot. You can look him up on Amazon if you want to know about more about him. King of Chin's Productions. And I just want to give a little shout out. Jacob Seelman was at Anderson Motor Speedway in South Carolina Friday night. I was down there checking out some of the legend stuff, and he was calling the race. So I just wanted to say, hey, it was kind of cool to hear a familiar voice down there at the racetrack. So.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome, and we always like to hear Jacob, whether it's on the sim or at the real racetrack. So that was pretty cool that you got to be able to hear that and familiar voice as well. So congratulations again, second place finish. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
There you have it, our second place finisher on the night. That's Byron Daly, and I think that Jacob has finally dried off maybe a little bit from Gatorade Victory Lane, but he's going to pull up and see if he can talk to our fifth place finisher, Matt Busa.
Yeah, got out of victory lane, got away from the Gatorade bath, and finally meandered the way up pit road a little bit. Matt Busa, solid top 5 for you tonight, and I know you were up there for a little bit, and then things kind of just quieted down for you the better part of this race, and it's a run through the field, 36th to 5th, and once you got up to the top 5, you stayed there. But how tough was it running through the field tonight?
Yeah, it was a bit sketchy at sometimes in traffic there. There was a lot of 2 and even 3 wide racing, and a couple times I had to take some evasive action to avoid disaster, but thankfully made it up there with no damage, except for a couple wall scrapes. And once I got to the top 5, that's all I had. I didn't have anything for this top 4. I struggled a bit with that setup, the tight on entry. I couldn't find a way to compensate for that.
I know it was a long race, not a lot of cautions to be able to catch your breath, especially at the end. We were watching guys haul through you lead lap cars with fresh tires. I mean, you used the word sketchy. Is that what you would use to describe the tail end there, having guys just coming through, no abandon, while you guys were just trying to conserve and make it to the end?
Yeah, definitely. A couple times there I saw them in my mirror a ways back, and then took my normal arc on entry, and before I knew it, they were already inside of me. So thankfully there's a big arc, otherwise would have came right down on them.
You made it work, get a top 5, keep the momentum going in the right direction. And I know everybody's probably scratching their heads and asking the same question, but what's it going to take to beat Ray in that 27 car? I mean, I think you've come the closest. You've had a pole or 2 and been right up there, but it seems like all you guys are still searching.
Yeah, I think my best chance is going to be at some of the shorter tracks or some of the more unique tracks, and not the cookie cutters from 1.5 miles. He seems to have those figured out really well, with being able to push it and still save the tires at the same time.
I know it's a solid night for you, and I know you can't do it by yourself. Matt, who makes it happen for you in the 34 team?
Just like to thank Gale Force Racing, and then you guys broadcasting it, and Brian Schoenberg for putting the league together.
It's been fun to watch, and for Matt Busa, it's another solid result tonight. Finishes 5th, and I'll head towards the booth. But Andy, final thoughts from you before we sign off from Fontana? This was a fun race.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and we talk about the the tire conservation, the tire wear, and when you're going to pit, when you're not going to pit. And we saw a bunch of that come through here over the course of the night, and just a pretty big shout out there for Josh Parker. When he finally made that pit stop, he came out 28th, and he was able to drive that thing all the way back up to 13th. I didn't think he would be able to do it, but he was able to, and he at least salvaged out a decent finish there in the top 15. So we saw a lot of different things, and even guys like Chase Gabry, who was outside the top 15 for most of the night, he rebounded with a good pit stop there and saved something for the end. He came home 7th. So overall, I thought it was a good race, but I think the challenge for the rest of the field really is just trying to figure out what they can do to get Ray Alfalla off his game. Maybe get him maybe at a place that we're going to see in a couple weeks at Martinsville. That might be a place that might be able to see something happen like we did at Phoenix, where maybe just some strategy on pit road will catch Ray back a little bit further on one of those final restarts or something to that effect, and his track position just won't be there, and it'll be tough for him to make a pass. But we'll have to see, and only time will tell. But this type of racetrack, I think it suits Ray rather well as far as conserving his tires and making it on the long run.
Yeah, I can definitely feel what you're saying there. But going into this next race, I think Ray Alfala is definitely going to have a tougher time at Martinsville for darn sure, especially on restarts. I mean, every time we had a restart here tonight, Ray Alfala wasn't really one to jump out there and take the lead and drive away. He slowly crept in, like you said, saving his tires. But with these restarts in Martinsville, there's no saving tires. You go in there, you go full bore, you move people, you get in their face, you get in their way, and you move them. And I think that's probably going to happen to a bunch of these drivers. We're going to have a lot of tempers. It's going to be real fun to watch for sure. But I think that's going to be I think that's going to be the first crack and the first weakness maybe that we can see out of Ray Alfala. But maybe not a weakness, but maybe just a point where they can take advantage of situations and closing rates that happen at these short tracks.
It's going to be fun to watch, and we are off next Sunday for the Easter holiday, but return to action for the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series in 2 weeks' time on April the 3rd at Martinsville Speedway for the first true short track race of the season. We hope to see you there. Until then, we congratulate Ray Alfala once again with the Slip Angle Motorsports team getting the victory tonight here in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. So, for Austin Coop, Andy Kessler, Cisco Scaramouza down in the production trailer, and all the staff and people at LSRTV behind the scenes that help make it happen each and every day that we are on the air. Thanks to all of them, and thanks to all of you out at home for watching tonight. I'm Jacob Seelman, reminding you to keep it off the wall until we meet again. And hey, we'll see you next time right here on the web. Congratulations, Ray Alfala, the winner in Fontana. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Martinsville.